Last time I did a video about my home gym, showing you around, showing you how I'm training, all the equipment I've bought. You guys seem to really love it. So in today's video, I'm going to show you the new addition to the home gym, and I deem this to be absolutely essential for people that have home gyms, just based on the cost of the equipment and the versatility it brings. So I'm actually waiting for this delivery to turn up. Meanwhile, I'm going to play a bit of FIFA, get a bit of head loss, and I think I've just said that a little bit too soon because I think man has a delivery. Here is the new addition to the home gym. So we have a rope attachment, a cable, all the relevant fittings, clips, all that kind of stuff. I can't even remember what this is called, you know, the pin thing, what you put the plates on, weight loader, pin, whatever. Someone correct me in the comments, I can't remember what it's called. And a pulley. So there are all the parts, let's go put it all together. Actually, before I fit the pulley, I'm actually waiting for another delivery. We're just gonna patiently wait here for hopefully about a minute till the next one turns up.
A few moments later.
Here it is, package number 2. Look at these little beasts, £11. Everyone loves the D. Handles, that wasn't funny. Right, let's go fit the pulley, train, run through some bits. Let's go. So yeah, the pulley is up, and for £18, that is literally a bargain. Like, what does £18 get you in 2020 or 2021? Probably like a meal deal and a Freddo. Maybe that's like slightly over exaggerating, but what I'm saying, for £18, you think about how much stuff costs at the minute for like home gym equipment. £18 for that is sick. In terms of what attachments came with the pulley, it was just a rope, but that is pretty versatile in itself. You can do a lot with that, and I'm going to go over what exercises you can do with it and how to execute it, that kind of thing. The other attachments like this flat bar and the lat pull down bar up there, I was able to source for free, so I'm pretty fortunate in that regard. But like I said, I'm going to show you some exercises, why this thing I deem as literally essential for a home gym. Okay, we'll start off with the most obvious exercise to do, and that is push downs for the triceps with the rope. Primary function of the triceps is literally elbow extension, so doing that. So when you're doing it, you're just going to make sure you're going for a full range of motion with your elbows fixed in position. So when you're getting the tricep short, make sure you get a full extension there, and then come all the way up and lengthen the tricep and back down and get a good squeeze there. You see too many people doing half reps like this and they never actually get the tricep fully short. So that's the most obvious one out the way. The second exercise I'm going to show you is also working the tricep. When I said that the tricep's main responsibility is to extend the elbow, it is also responsible for shoulder extension. So shoulder extension is when your arm is behind your body there, or behind your body that way. So the triceps have 3 heads, hence the name tri. So with the push down, we've hit more of the lateral head and the medial head, and the other muscle we need to hit is the long head. So that's that big muscle down there. So to do that, we need to do something overhead because the long head runs across the shoulder joint. So let me show you an exercise you can do on the pulley to hit that long head. The long head, by the way, is actually the biggest muscle in the triceps. So if you want big arms, make sure you're doing something overhead. In terms of what cable attachment to use, it literally doesn't matter too much. As long as you pick an exercise, you're going through the full range of motion and you get stronger with it, you're going to make gains. But one thing you shouldn't do is when you're doing a push down with a flat bar, don't do it with an underhand grip, with a supinated grip, because all that's going to do is hinder how much weight you can lift. If you're doing a bicep curl with it supinated, it makes sense because one of the functions of the bicep is supinating the forearm. For the triceps, it doesn't make any sense because the triceps aren't responsible for supination of the forearm. The only thing that's going to do for you is your grip is probably just going to go before your triceps. So when you do decide to do it with a straight bar, just make sure you stick with a pronated grip and go for a full range of motion with your elbows still. Next one is face pulls. So for me, this isn't an exercise that I use to progressively overload and get stronger with. This is more for just shoulder health and mobility, and just to warm up before like mainly my push sessions, because when I'm pressing it's important that I get my upper back tight. So when you are doing face pulls, you are literally just working the upper back musculature, because if you think about it, when you are pulling the weight back with your elbows high and wide, what you're doing is you're pulling the weight back in line with the fibers of the upper back musculature. Okay, next one we're targeting is the back, more specifically the lats. So this one's called the lat pullover. I think some people call it like the lat push down, but I think it's the lat pullover. Anyway, what we've got to think about with the lats is what movement is the lats responsible for, and that is adduction of the arm primarily, and also shoulder extension. So adduction of the arm is when you're bringing your arm into the midline of your body. Your chest is also responsible for adduction of the arm, but that's horizontally, whereas when the lat is doing adduction of the arm, that is bringing it down vertically. And the other one being shoulder extension, where your arm comes behind your body that way or that way. So when you do a lat pullover, you're adducting the arm, bringing it in, and then you come backwards there, getting that shoulder extension, and that's why it's so good for targeting the lats. Another thing I want to mention when you're trying to isolate the lat is don't allow your scapula to move. So when you're getting a stretch, don't let your shoulder come forward like that, because allowing scapular movement is actually going to take away a lot of the load away from the lat, because the lat actually attaches to the humerus, so the upper arm, and the spine. So allowing that scapular movement is just going to get other muscle groups involved, like the rhomboids, rear delts, teres major, erectors, that kind of thing. So you just got to make sure that you don't let that stretch go past there. So just keep your scapula locked in, get that good squeeze there, and then when you're lengthening the muscle, go to there, and don't let that happen. Just keep it there and then drive back in. Another good exercise you can do with a pulley to target the lats is a lat focused row. So to target the lats more with a row is basically, let me just adjust the camera, is to bring the elbows close to your body that way rather than up here. So if you bring your arms in there, obviously we're adducting the arm and we're getting that shoulder extension, so you're going to hit more of the lats. So when you're doing any kind of lat focused row, just think about keeping your elbows close to your body and bringing them back and down. And if you want to do a row to target the upper back, you can use like a flat bar or a lat pull down bar, and just keep your elbows high and wide. Allowing protraction and retraction of the scapula is actually a good thing, because the upper back musculature actually attaches to the scapula, so allowing that movement to occur is a good thing. One thing I want to say as well, just to clear things up, is people that do lat focused rows where they allow their scapula to protract to get the stretch and then retract, I'm not saying that's wrong, you're just not isolating the lat, so it depends what you're trying to do. So I'm not saying that's a bad way to do it and a bad movement, but if you're trying to isolate the lat, to me it makes sense to keep it retracted and drive back. Next exercise, and it's another one for the lats, just a standard lat pull down with a pronated grip with a lat pull down bar. So I'll show you how to do that. Pretty standard stuff, you probably know how to do that exercise anyway, and then I will show you my favourite kind of lat pull down variations. I think the most common mistake I see when people do lat pull downs is the really wide grip, and this comes from bro science, like wide grip, wide back. That is completely incorrect. When you're doing a lat pull down, you've got to think about getting a full range of motion. If you're kind of pulling down all the way here, you can only get to about there, so you can't get the lat fully short. Whereas if you take a slightly narrower grip and then pull down, you're able to get the lat fully short, and we know that a full range of motion is key when we're trying to build muscle. Anyway, let me show you my favourite lat pull down variation, and that is a neutral grip pull down unilaterally with the D handles. And the reason I like this is when I go with a neutral grip and I'm going quite narrow, I'm able to really get the lat short and get my arm kind of back and down, which is the function of the lats. And some people might argue that they kind of get too much bicep like engagement, but I think that when you've been training a while and you've built that good mind muscle connection up with your back, like I don't really feel hardly any bicep at all when I'm doing that movement. Obviously they are going to come into play a little bit, because with any pull movement you're doing elbow flexion, so your bicep is going to get worked, but I just feel like once you've got that mind muscle connection with your back, it's a game changer. I feel like I've covered a fair little bit showing these exercises, how to execute them. Hopefully a lot of you, or some of you at least, have learnt something. That's the goal. Pretty cold. I am going to go inside in a minute. One thing to quickly touch on, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but with what attachments to use for each exercise, as long as you're going for a full range of motion, just kind of figure out which attachment you get on best with the specific exercise. Like for lat pullovers, I prefer a rope because I just feel like I get a better range of motion. So there's not one you must do, just make sure you're doing the exercise properly and just stick with one attachment, progress with it for as long as you can, milk the progress, and then when you stall, then you can substitute something or change the variable. Instead of like taking the exercise out completely, maybe just instead of using the D handles for the push down, use a straight bar. Anyway, it is absolutely Baltic, so I'm going to get inside and talk to you in a minute. Back inside in the warmth, and I'm pretty glad because I was getting quite cold just waffling to a camera for God knows how long. But I figured that I've not even told you where I got my pulley from, and it's from eBay. 18 quid, cheap as chips. When I'm saying £18 is nothing, I'm talking like relative to costs of gym equipment. I'm not saying that everyone's got, you know, income that they can just dispose of on hobbies, because realistically, like, I'm in a very fortunate position to have a home gym and invest into it, and if you have a home gym yourself, you're very lucky as well, and you should feel fortunate about that. Anyway, my camera's flashing, it's about to die, so hopefully this video was useful. Hopefully a few of you learned something. I don't want to be this guy that's like, do this, do that, and you know, telling you what to do, because that might come across a little bit annoying, I don't know, but I'm just trying to add value to my videos where I can. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, please like the video as well, that would be great, that would really help me out. And yeah, nothing to add, so peace and love, laters.